would have been, it kind of stopped us from finishing up our punch list because we couldn't have our flooring guys or the finish trades working, doing their punch list stuff around the flooring guys. So we didn't get stuff in their glue, and this took several weeks. So and all the change orders that were associated with Pat Davis with adding door hardware, adding doors to the servery, and those types of items. And we continue to manage change orders that are either design add changes or owner requested change orders. And this is obviously, you see that this is a reduced cost. It's not, Nathan probably knows the exact number. It's not the $3,000 a day. It's just to cover our cost to get us finished up and get us out through November 1st.
Okay, thank you, Sean, for the background and context. I will open the floor up for questions from the board since we have the Layton team here.
So Sean, is that for your time, say from now through November 4th, or is that for time prior to today?
So well? It covers, so if you remember, we received 2 general conditions change orders. One was for the switch gear, which took us to, I think, May 23rd. Nathan, you correct me if I'm wrong. And then we received an additional change order through June 27th to manage the landscaping scope for the courtyards. So this would cover us from the 27th to the end of October.
Okay. Yeah, that's correct. Ashley, to add on to that, to answer your question regarding the $32.50 a day, we didn't do the change order in the same fashion as the previous 2, which was for, say, June 27th to now at $32.50 a day. We did. We had a conversation with Jeremy and Sean and myself. We did any outstanding incurred cost from June 27th to I think it was about four weeks ago, and then we forecasted the labor portion for an additional 8 weeks to get wrapped up with all of the change order scope and offsite. That makes sense.
So this is for your additional time only for change orders and not for anything within the original contract. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, correct. So what we did with the labor portion for myself and some of the team that's been wrapping up the changes here at the end was we forecasted 8 weeks. So if you backed up from that November 1st date, I think it was basically the last week of September to say the 1st of November. Anything between June 27th and that third week of September was just any actual cost that we saw for, things like dumpster fees for pulling dumpsters and stuff like that.
Okay. So I guess my question would be, I don't like being asked for money for work that's already been completed. So I guess my question to you guys is, why weren't we presented with this, in June, or as soon as you knew that there were going to be more items out there, that it was going to take you until now or November to present that to us with what? And I understand that things change and, you don't necessarily know, but to provide us an estimate of what you expected those costs to be for what wasn't already approved.
Yeah, so Ashley, there's 2 answers for that question. One is the USDA wouldn't allow throughout the project, would not allow for us to forecast on the front end of a change order an additional amount of days. So although there was plenty of change orders where they were approved from a cost standpoint, they wanted us to hold off on forecasting any additional days to the project until those were incurred or actualized. So, just like with the long-term care courtyard, there was a change order for the cost component of the courtyard. And then later down the road, once it was determined how many days would actually be added, in that case it was 31, then they had us submit a later change order for the 31 days and the GC costs associated with that. It's just the way that they had us handle those added days. Also, the other answer I would say is that the change orders have continued on a regular basis between June 27th and now. I think we actually still have a handful outstanding with the USDA for things that have come up because, as you know, Pat Davis came in and did the hospital side of things and had a correction list and some things that needed to be added to design and then approved as change orders. And then down the road on the June 27th date for the long-term care, he did the same thing. He came through the long-term care, had a list of items that he thought needed to be changed from a design standpoint. And then we went through round 2 of doing that all over again. So it's been continuous. And unfortunately, we couldn't go to the USDA and say, hey, we think we need 90 more days to do these changes. They wanted us to get cost approved and then proceed and then work out the days on the back end, which is what we're having to do here.
And Ashley, I'd add on too that this change order has been shown on our change order log that has been shared with everybody for months. So it was a higher number because I did have Nathan forecasted a long time ago. I don't remember what the number we were carrying, but it was quite a bit more. But when we all sat down as a team, we just want to recover the costs that we've incurred. So that's why the number is reduced. But we were carrying, I think, Nathan, wasn't it 280,000 or something?
I think it was 200. Yeah, I think it was 275,000 if I remember right. I'll have to go back and look at the original number. But Sean's right, Ashley. We actually reduced the number quite a bit, just to cover the cost component.
Okay.
Any questions from other board members?
Madam Chair, Jameson.
Yeah. Hey, Jameson.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Ashley asked the questions I was gonna ask, and I now have a clearer understanding. So, I was noticing when the change orders were coming in that they didn't have impact days on the schedule, and so this is the culmination of that. And I guess it's fair to ask Leighton maybe that the subs got the work done, and that didn't impact the schedule. But at this point, what it's impacting is Leighton's ability to close out the contract, and so here we are with some general conditions for the time that they are still there, I guess, is the answer to that.
Yeah, that's correct, Jameson. It crunched the schedule, if you will, from a punch list and final completion list for Pat Davis's items, and we were able to get those items done by the dates that we committed to. Unfortunately, there was still a scope of punch lists and substantial completion walks and Davis partnerships after that suffered as a result of that. And I tried to do a good job of mapping what those changes were. I don't know if you guys saw the map, the plan view that was attached to that change order, but I made
it's in there. It's in there. It's pretty good. We can see it.
Okay. Yeah, I made a list of all those AHJ and DOH changes that came up at both of those substantial completion dates, so that it sort of told a storyline, if you will.
Yeah, and those were things the Department of Health demanded. I mean, there's no way around it, right?
Yeah, and just like with everything else, Jameson, I just want to clarify that it's in the description of the change order, but this these general conditions are just like any other, they're approved, and then as they're actually used, those costs would go into the pay application for approval. So, if we end up having some, monies left over that aren't spent of these actual general conditions, this is GC cost that we need budget for. So,
Yeah. Well, and I guess to Ashley's point too, it would be, it would have been nice, I guess, to have been presented, of a forecasted cost and approval, but under the circumstances, especially with the USDA, now I understand now why it's gone in the order that it is. And so, that helps me understand.
I think the USDA approval process has consistently thrown things off throughout this entire project.
So we've done everything backwards,
dare
right?
Say. Yeah. Okay.
And Sean can tell you, we sat through a few meetings with them early on regarding this exact thing and how we would request for days associated with change orders, and they're pretty adamant that they needed to happen after the fact, once those days were actualized, rather than on the front end as a forecast. So it makes things a little, it's like you said, it's a little backwards. So
A little backwards, but it's a fair statement to say that if days would have been added every time there was a change order, we probably would have spent more than that much.
Yeah, James, and it goes down to the point is we tried to hit your date. We know you guys made a commitment to your docs and stuff. Once we made that commitment, we did everything in our power to hit your date. And some of the detriment of the project is we tried to keep that turnover date, so you guys didn't start incurring a bunch of additional costs for carrying docs and staff. And what happened is we focused on getting all the stuff done for Pat Davis, and it kind of took the subs that we needed to be doing their punch list. It took them to other areas of the hospital, where in some areas where they couldn't work because we couldn't have subs working on top of each other.
Right. And if we would have followed normal course of action, we might not even be in the building yet, right? So
yeah, we did try. We did everything in our power to get the subs here and get the scope done. We were Matthias, Nathan, and I, and Whitney. We were running back and forth from Salt Lake City to get door hardware parts, doors, chasing down subcontractors, just to get Pat Davis's list done so you could submit for licensing. So it was a lot of heavy lift on our part at the end, and some of the trade partners, helping us out with that stuff. And that's kind of put us in the position where we didn't have the proper amount of time to do a proper punch list after, because that flooring scope was quite a substantial scope, if you remember, sanding the floors down and doing all that finish.
Nathan, to your point, in regard to the USDA, is it a fair assumption to think that they are expecting this change order then? I have not been on the last several meetings with them, so are they in expectation of this?
Yes, ma'am. I believe they should be. We've actually talked, like Sean said, we've had this showing as a pending forecasting change order for some time now. I think this one's 286. It's been on there for a couple months at least, and the last time that we had talked to Lillian and Bobby on site, Sean had a conversation with Bobby about, we were going to try to get everything done, and then we'd go through submitting the change order. So I do believe they're expecting it.
Okay, thank you. All right, any further questions, board members? Excuse me. the Layton team appropriately answer all the questions you might have had? Gentlemen, I appreciate you being on tonight. Thanks for being willing to jump on and help address this change order.
Yes, I got my questions answered. Thank you, everybody.
Okay. Well, this is an action item tonight, so I will open the floor up for action from the board. Should anyone
Madam
wish to
Chair,
take
I
it?
would move to approve PCO 0286 for
Thank you, James.
Layton Construction Company in the amount of $184,062.71.
Okay, thank you, Jameson. We have a motion
I'll second.
and a second. Any last minute discussion, concerns, questions?
I guess one clarification, this is coming out of our contingency then, correct?
Excuse me, yes, that is correct, Ashley. Any other questions?
Madam Chair, I just want to,
Yes, Sean.
I know obviously everyone knows the issue with the USDA and the shutdown. I don't know that this will be the last one, depending on how long the USDA would shut down. Because they have a bunch of change orders in their queue right now. I just want to mention that we will do everything in our power to get the project closed out. But this is going to be a big holdup as long as they're shut down from presenting for us submitting any more change orders, because we can't do any of the closeout with our subcontractors until that is all the change orders are approved.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. To that point, I think we're all a little nervous about that at the moment and how much longer this might go on. I will tell you that I believe this goes in as change order 103, and I have submitted already through 111 or 112. And I know that there are a few more coming, but they were just waiting on this one to be able to review through that number. So that's kind of where we're at, just for an update on your end.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that to you, because we have no clue how long they're going to shut down, and we did forecast to be off the project and out of here by November 1st. So that's what our goal is still, and that's what we're going to shoot for. But just depending on how long the USDA is shut down for.
Yeah, which none of us have any control over, right?
Yep.
That's the hard part. That's the hard part. Okay. Well, I do have a motion to approve this change order and a second. Are there any further questions or comments that need to be made to this end? Okay, I will ask for a vote then. All in favor of the motion on the table to approve this change order, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Sorry, I feel like I'm getting a cold or something. I'm coughing a lot, so my apologies. Next item on the agenda, let me get back to my regular screen, is contract for Kolek. And I will turn this over to Bill. Bill, I believe you just need board action for approval to move forward with this, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we used our contract template and we negotiated agreement with Christie for a salary that's competitive, consistent with what we're paying our other providers, and also consistent with national MGMA guidelines, Medical Group Management Association. It offers our standard medical staff benefit package. The contract term is for 3 years. The document has been reviewed and approved by legal counsel. And if the board approves it, Christie would start the second week in January.
Okay, thank you, Bill. And we don't actually have the contract to approve. We're just approving you're moving forward with it, correct?
Right, this is the new process that I suggested at the last board meeting,
Yes.
where we
Yes.
would present this summary, and then based on that, you would approve the document. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know this looks a little bit different to you board members. But we did have some conversation about this at our last board meeting, just if you don't recall, so.
And I apologize, Bill, that I have forgotten, but please remind me what department she will be in.
So Christy will be working in the emergency department. When we first had contact with her, there was question about whether she would be in the clinics, assisting Raleigh with women's health. When I met with her, it was clear that her preference was for the ED. Part of that was the difference in the schedule. So in the ED, she would be working 6 24-hour shifts. In the clinic, she'd be working 4 days a week. So she much preferred the ED model. So that's what the contract is written around.
Okay, thank you, Bill.
Sure.
Any other questions for Bill in this regard? Okay, board members, we do need action on this item if anyone would like to do so.
Madam Chair, I would move to proceed with a contract for PA-C with Christy Kolick.
Thank you, Jameson. We have a motion.
I'll second.
Thank you, Kenda. Any further questions in this regard? Okay, I will ask for a vote then from the board to approve the motion for approval of the contract for Christy Kolick, PA-C. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Look forward to meeting her and
Yes.
welcoming her. All right, next item on the agenda are 3 invoices that we have, 2 for Pinnacle and 1 for Rocky Mountain Power that need approval from the board. Has everyone had an opportunity to review those invoices?
Yes.
And I noticed we have more information this time. Thank you, Bill. I'm assuming that was on your part to make sure that everything is there and signed
Yes.
off on prior to arrival at the board. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I would make a motion to approve the invoices over $20,000.
Okay, thank you, Ashley. We have a motion.
I'll second.
Thank you, Kenda. Any last minute questions or points for discussion? All right, let's put it to a vote then. All in favor of the motion to approve all invoices over 20,000, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. And I will get with Jan to get signatures and help get signatures on those. Next item on the agenda is the Dry Piney Blue Spruce project. This is really just purely informational for the board. I know we've had some basic conversations about this, but we just wanted to have some minor discussion tonight publicly that we are part of an MOU that was approved by the Board of County Commissioners yesterday. They are acting on behalf of the hospital district as well as the municipalities and a couple of other boards in the county to seek industrial siting funds that may be placed through the state SLIB board in regard to an industrial siting plan through with Blue Spruce. So you've been provided the appendices and the draft MOU, which again was approved yesterday. So we're kind of discussing this after the fact, but the timing was off. And I'd like to thank Jameson for helping prepare a plan on behalf of the hospital district for our portion of the funds, should they be awarded, in helping get that together. So thank you, Jameson, for working on that.
Mhm.
And hopefully we will have some information soon. So Lena has really been handling this. It's been mostly handled through the attorneys for each group in conjunction with the county commissioners. So I'd like to thank her also, even though she's not on tonight, for kind of helping head the charge to get this in and to make sure that we are able to collect some of those monies should they come down through the district. So any questions or anything that anyone wants to talk about on that agenda item?
Madam Chair, just one thing to point out, is Lena on with us tonight?
She is not. She had a conflict
Okay.
with school board meeting tonight.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say that on page 12 of the draft MOU, that page shows the town of Granger signature, and it shows Matt Murdock, the mayor. I think it's the title's wrong. I think that's the page for the town of Pinedale signature. And maybe somebody should catch that, not me, but anyway, maybe we could pass that on to Lena.
Yes, I absolutely will. Hopefully they didn't sign it yesterday with that in place, right?
Yeah.
I will pass that on and have her communicate that to them. Thanks, Jameson.
Yep.
I also don't know if you noticed that they did ask for some minor changes to our plan, and I don't know if you want to handle those or clarify those a little bit, or if you want Lena or I to go back and kind of clarify some of those requests for our part.
Who is they?
The county.
The county?
Yes.
Yeah, we can clarify anything they want clarified.
Okay.
Yeah, just send it on.
Yeah, there's an email in your inbox from Friday, I believe, with some clarifications being sought. So
Okay.
we don't
We'll
have a
get it
lot of
handled.
time. I think we have until Monday to get that submitted. So if
Okay.
you can handle it, great. If not, let me know and we'll pull something together. Okay.
Yep, we'll get it.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any other questions from anyone in that regard? I know it was kind of a fast and furious process. So just wanted to let everyone know we were working furiously on behalf of the hospital district to try to capture some of those funds. Okay.
Oh, Madam Chair, 1.2, and
Yes.
I'll say this in public. Yes, capture some funds and it's been divvied out, but, or the amount of money was out of our control for what portion we have, I guess to say, but I would say in public, I don't think it's enough to cover the impact. I guess will remain to be seen, but I think we could have used a little bit more as a hospital district.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jameson, and I will just to that point. They had us assigned at 10%, and I advocated for us to get 15. So at the meeting that I attended, so I tried. I tried to get.
Well, and that was a process that, speaking of doing things backwards, I mean, it was just arguing about a percentage of a total piece or a total pie without really considering what the actual impact to each organization might be. So,
Correct.
But anyway, it is what it is.
Yes. And I think it's important to note publicly here also that it's my understanding with regard to the communications from the commissioners and our county attorney that this will be a moot point for us if there isn't a fifth penny tax that's voted upon by county residents. So I think that's important in terms of education for the community.
Absolutely is. Yep.
So, okay. Any other comments? Concerns?
Can you elaborate on that last comment a little bit? I'm not quite sure how I understand how that being added and these funds being received are linked.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing, isn't it, Ashley? The SLIB board will be administering the funds once awarded, if awarded, and they have made it clear that Sublette County is lagging behind in helping themselves through an extra penny tax that all of the other communities already have. And so they essentially have said, we won't help you until you help yourselves to some extent in passing the extra penny tax. So the municipalities were working to get it on a ballot, and I believe that is happening, but it will be something that you'll probably be hearing questions about, and just kind of want everyone to be educated that these monies will not come to us unless that fifth penny tax is approved by the voters. So.
Oh. All right, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Those larger conversations have taken place with the county at the county level. So you'll probably be hearing more about it. Okay. Any other comments or questions? All right. We will move on then. The next item on our agenda, our new business this evening, is staffing for our emergency department and the ARC contract. And so I will turn the time over to Bill now.
So we've been working with Dr. Burnett and Ryan about options related to staffing our emergency department. And I'd like to talk about some of the contractual and confidential elements of that conversation with the board in executive session. And then once the board comes out of executive session, ask them to take action in open session. Okay.
Very well. Thank you, Bill. You can certainly do that. We will move forward then. The next item is a new credentialing summary from the credentialing committee. And this comes from our discussion at our last regular board meeting, I'm assuming. So I'm excited about the prospect of this and our not having to comb through hundreds and hundreds of pages. It sounds like we will now get a summary from the credentialing committee and the MEC committee. Am I interpreting that correctly, Bill? And Dr.
Yes, so this was based on the conversation we had at the last meeting. Lena did a great job of giving us a document to start with. Dr. Burnett and I both made edits to it. It was taken to both the Credentials Committee and Medical Executive Committee. Everyone has signed off on it. I think this does a really nice job of summarizing for the board the information in a summary fashion that's important for the board to know about a potential candidate. And then that both the Credentials Committee and the Medical Executive Committee have signed off on it. So I think this really is a nice roll up to an idea that was presented last month.
Yeah, I really like this form, and I'm very appreciative of the efforts to make this a little bit less labor intensive for us on the board. So thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Part in that, yeah, that's helpful. Everyone on the board, what do you guys think? Do you like the format? Will this be helpful?
Yes, I agree. I like it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Do you
Are
need
we-
a formal
good?
action?
Oh.
On
No,
this
just a
bill?
grunt is good.
Okay, okay, that's what I wasn't sure. I didn't know if we needed a formal acceptance or not, but I think it sounds like everyone's happy about it, so. Very good. Thank you again for everybody's work on that. All right, next item on the agenda, letter I, is consideration of regular board meeting change. So, Bill, I'll let you speak to this. I'm assuming this is your request?
Yes. So as we've been working to get the new quote for our health insurance, as these projects often do, they want a little bit more time to get one more month of data in the analysis. So we would not have it ready for the meeting on the 22nd. So we're asking that the board meeting be moved to the 29th. And that would also mean that Finance Committee would be moved to the 23rd.
Okay. Thank you for that. And I'm assuming that's already been vetted for any other conflicts or anything that could create problems for us down the road? Change.
Based on what we know today, yes.
Okay, okay. All right, board members, I'll ask for your input here.
Tanya, will you be back by then?
I will not.
You won't,
I
okay.
will be gone regardless of those two dates, so.
I'm good with either date. I'm fine with it, moving it to the 29th, if that works better.
Yeah,
Okay.
me as well. I don't think I have a conflict there.
Okay. Jameson, any conflict for you, especially as you'll be having to run the meeting that night?
Yeah, I should be fine. Just my only concern is let me make sure we notice whoever is on the list to get notice of meeting changes.
And I've already
Everything
had that
else.
conversation with Jan, and we will be publishing notice in the newspaper as well, since we typically
Perfect.
run it there.
Sound good to me then.
Okay. To that end, would someone be willing to make a motion to formally move the date of the meeting then so we can make it official?
Madam Chair, I would make a motion that we move our regular board meeting to October 29th for October.
Okay, thank you, Ashley. We have a motion on the table.
I'll second.
And a second by Kenda. Any last minute discussion? Okay, all in favor of the motion to approve the changing of our regular board meeting to October 29th, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Thanks all. That brings us to the end of our new business for the evening. We do obviously have just a couple of items that we need to discuss in executive real estate contracts. And so if I could get a motion to enter into executive session for those purposes, we will get started.
Madam Chair, I would make a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel, real estate, and contracts.
Thank you, Ashley. A motion
I'll second.
in a second. Thank you, Kenda. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you, and I will at this time ask anyone who's not part of board or admin team to step off temporarily. I'm not sure who our guest